What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and today it's time that we find out who is better, true dual wield versus true double hand. Well, essentially this video is just going to be describing each one of them, which one I like better, true dual wield, and then essentially just show you guys that even into the future, true double hand and true dual wield will have their own respective rights, and it doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we get started with this video, I do need to say it is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. That's right, you guys have seen it on the channel before, and you guys have given me so much positive feedback, and they keep asking me to be sponsored by it. Of course I'm going to say yes. It's a good game. If you guys didn't know what Raid Shadow Legends is, it is a new 2019 RPG with fantastic looking champions for you guys to use and customize. They're looking so very nice. There's RPG elements just as battling, building up your units. There's arena, and speaking of arena, battling PvP. That tournament I've been talking about that you guys have seen on my video, that's right, is ready to go. The tournament is live globally. You guys can go battle it out for in-game prizes, along with, physical prizes. They'll send you your door so you can sit your butt down, play your mobile game, and not have to worry about a thing. They'll send it right to you if you win anything. So, if you guys want to get in on that, and you haven't yet, please click the link in the description below. You guys are going to be able to use my link to get 50,000 silver, get you started nice with a little bit of cash, along with an epic champion to help you guys, get started, start fighting dragons, these amazing bosses you guys can see in this game, start getting that loot, and get stronger in battle in this tournament. And best of all, it's free. Download Raid Shadow Legends today. Alright guys, so we're talking about true dual wield and true double hand. And before we get into discussing which one is better out of the two, or which one I prefer at least, because I don't think either one is that much better. They have pros and cons. We have to understand what they are. So true double hand means that your unit is using one weapon in their hand, and true dual wield means you're using two weapons. Dual wielding. Dual. Essentially, this gives you guys a bonus to attack equipment that is on your equipment. So, not attack percentages. However, anything that says like flat attack, like your weapon has 120 attack on it, or your accessory has 50 attack, or your chest piece has 20 attack, whatever percent you get up true double hand or true dual wield up to, adds a bonus to that, if that makes any sense. So 100% true double hand is going to buff all those attack stats and give you that much more attack, making it extremely powerful and coveted when it comes to the game. And again, remember, true double hand is both hands, double-handed a weapon, and true dual wield is having both. Now, when true double hand hit the meta, everybody went berserk. It was great. You had this ability to buff up your attack higher than we've ever seen before, and attack in this game is just exponentially strong. The higher you get it, the more powerful you are. Attack is always a good thing to have. And before dual wield was reigning supreme, you guys remember those days, and the reason being is that with dual wield, every time you did a physical attack, it would go twice, right? You have two weapons in your hand, do once, do twice. So you could get those chains up, you can start chaining up, getting higher chains, more damage, and for less MP cost, because when you would do the dual wield, you'd be able to use both of those attacks, and it only cost the one MP, which was great. MP conservative. True double hand comes out, and we always had double hand in the game. But the problem with double hand is that you could only, if you would double hand and get your attack built up like that, you could only use the attack once. So some people did it. So you would try to chain with a friend, and they would only have one weapon, and the chain would go, and then your character would keep going while your friend's character would stop, because they would only have double hand. With a true double hand meta, when it really hit, they gave us the opportunity to use something called W cast, or dual cast. The ability to cast these physical abilities twice, even if only wielding one weapon. And even farther than that, we were given the ability to triple cast, meaning we could cast it 3 times, chains galore, tons of damage. Amazing, right? So dual wield started to go away because with true double hand, you get those attack stats really high. You could still do everything you did with dual wield as far as, casting wise when it comes to physical abilities. So that's why dual wield started to dwindle. And then came true dual wield. Now, the cap for true double hand was 300%. The cap for true dual wield was 100%. And there's a reason for that, because essentially with true dual wield, you have 2 weapons that get counted into how much attack you have, whereas, a true double hand, you only have 1. So they had to, balance it some way. But even then, once it was released, it just wasn't as powerful. the bonus you could get from true double hand while putting a two-handed weapon in your hand was just that much more damage. So if you guys didn't know, I know a lot of you do, but I still want to talk to people who don't. If you use a two-handed weapon, there is a weapon damage variance, meaning that you can have it do even more damage. There's a bracket for each kind of weapon. You can check it up on the wiki, but normally it's adding, 1.3 times to 1.5 times to your damage calculations completely. If you only use one-handed weapons, it doesn't add anything, right? However, if you use a two-handed, there is a weapon variance where you add that weapon damage, making true double hand even more powerful than true dual wield. So even when true dual wield came out, giving that 100%, if you could build it up that high, to all your attack equipment, it still could not compete with true double hand, strictly speaking, because you had that extra weapon variance if you could use a two-handed weapon. The downfall of two-handed weapons were you had to imbue. Most of the time, either the unit had to imbue, because a lot of our two-handed weapons didn't have an element on it. And imbuing meaning putting an element on your weapon so you can elemental chain. And that is important because, one, imperils, right? Because if something is weak to an element, it does a lot of damage. And two, elemental chains hit the cap a little bit faster. And the cap is going to be important to understand. When you chain, you do more and more damage until you hit a certain point, as long as it's a consistent chain. Elemental chaining gets you there a little bit faster than normal chaining, and then spark chaining gets you there super fast. But that's not here or there. Spark chaining is like kind of hard to do without a machine help, and then if you use machine help, it's kind of easy. But whatever. Spark chaining is the best damage you could do. So that was kind of the drawback of using a two-handed weapon. And then they started releasing two-handed weapons that had elements already on them. So you didn't have to worry about outside imbue. You didn't have to use your Ignis. You didn't have to use some support unit if the unit didn't have a way to imbue themselves. So then even more so, true double hand was taking over. Well, they decided we didn't like that. We wanted you guys to have options, so true dual wield came out, and they allowed you guys to go all the way up to 200%. On your units. And this started with Xeno in our game and Global, and in JP it started with Lightning. And this was a passive that your unit had to have on it to be able to do that. Eventually in JP, true dual wield just overall universally got put up to 200% cap on all units. But for the first couple of units, it was a passive they only had. That change will probably come to Global eventually. And then they also added a little bit something else. Normally for a chain modifier, how you build up a chain, you get that extra modifier added. And this is similar to when you do a damage calculation, how the weapon modifier is added. So when you chain, you could get a max of a ×4 added. That is huge. If you think of anything out there, killer abilities, your actual multiplier on your abilities, when you look at those things, ×4 is a lot to have added. So you really need to be chaining. Chaining is so important in this game. And to balance out true dual wield and true double hand, like I said, they moved it up to 200%, and then they also added units to be able to go from a ×4 cap modifier added for chaining all the way up to a ×6. And what this did essentially was it equaled out what the weapon variance could give you with true double hand. So normally true double hand, two-handed weapon variance, making it really strong, and to make true dual wield kind of get up there and compete with it, they added the ×4 going up to ×6 on units like Xeno, and Xeno's the only one right now in Global. To help compete with that. So they kind of, knock each other out. There are some cases where true dual wield will be better. There are some cases where true double hand will be better in damage calculations when it comes to a two-handed weapon versus the chain modifier up. But overall, we can just say that it is because, they mark each other out. Now, why do I think true dual... So it sounds like they're kind of even, which they really are. Some perks for true double hand. You only really need one weapon, right? You only need one weapon, you slap it on, you don't have to worry about another weapon, and you just go to town. Some perks for true dual wield. If you use the dual wield aspect, if you're not triple casting or dual casting different abilities, you can save some MP. Because, again, it only costs the 1 MP, and because you're back in the day when we would dual wield, it does it twice for the 1 MP, so you can save a little bit of MP. True dual wield also has the option to be just as, mix and matchy as true double hand, because if you do double cast abilities with true dual wield, it won't be casting them a million times. It won't be casting them like 4 times, but you can cast them once each. So normally when you pick an ability with dual wield, it'll do that ability twice. But if you dual cast with true dual wield, you can do each ability. It'll only do them once, but it'll do each ability. That way, if you need to mix and match, get set up, you can do that. So that gives true dual wield a little bit of freedom there, just like true double hand has. And even some abilities and some units with true dual wield can triple cast. So just like they do with true double hand, you can even get that with true dual wield. I like true dual wield because it gives you the option of using different weapons. You're not just locked into one weapon. For people out there that do have the weapons surplus that they do have, you can use all kinds of different weapons. Fist weapons, as long as the unit can equip them, but fist weapons, katanas, axes, great swords, all kinds of stuff. It opens up the game a little bit more, broadens it, makes it a little bit more fun. On top of that, item world is a thing, right? So the Steel Castle, when we get those weapon enhancements, now we can use 2 weapons enhanced to help us get in there and do battle, right? So instead of the true double hand only having 1, in my opinion, I love having 2. And that kind of, like, and you're starting to hit the attack cap a little bit sooner. The attack cap, excuse me, is up there. I think it's 400%, so it's a little bit tough to hit. But using 2 weapons to hit it with all the passives and everything else you can equip, it helps you guys hit that attack cap so much easier, especially with how strong these units are. And then it opens up your materia slots to be a little bit more used for killer abilities, which adds even more damage. And then finally, for true dual wield, something I really do enjoy is the fact that you can just slap an element in one of those 2 hands. Now, there are some builds where elementless is the way to go, but more often than not, you're going to be able to use an element in your 2 hands when it comes time to build your unit, so you don't have to worry about imbuing, or if your unit imbues, or anything like that. And if you need to switch up your element, it's as easy as taking, like, you know, you can have a really strong weapon, but then, like, maybe your other weapon, you can always just switch it out. It's your elemental weapon, so it's like, you really need to chain with lightning, you switch it out. Whereas a true dual wielder, switching to lightning maybe lowers your attack super, super hard. I guess it's kind of the same with true dual wield, but I just feel more freedom when I'm using true dual wield, if that makes any sense. So overall, that's what true double hand and true dual wield matched up against each other is. In the future, we will see a lot more heavy arc into true dual wield as these units come out. There will be a lot of Final Fantasy units from your favorite Final Fantasy games that have this true dual wield, but then it will swing back. The pendulum goes back and forth. It'll go back to true double hand, so you guys don't have to worry about all your true double hand gear being crap. Another unit will come out that'll be great for true double hand, and I'm sure it'll swing back eventually in JP to where true dual wield shines, and back and forth, and that's what I like about it. That's what I want in this game. I want different options. If you love true double hand, use that. If you get sick of that, you want to use true dual wield, do that with a new unit, etc. And yada, 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 you guys get it. So those are my thoughts on true double hand versus true dual wield. I hope I explained it pretty well. I know it was kind of fast, but I did the best I could. And thank you again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Remember to click the link in the description below today to try it out. That tournament's going on. You guys got to get in there and battle. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below which one you guys like better, true dual wield or true double hand. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.